So I received this comment recently about whether I could create a formation that was fun to use, had loads of options in the attack, and wasn't too defensive. And initially I thought, well, that's easy. You just have everyone on attacking roles. Attacking wingbacks, playmaker attack, you've got plenty of options up front. But then I read it said not too defensive, and that made me think, it has to have a little bit of defensive solidity, otherwise you're just going to get absolutely trounced every game. I'm not going to lie, man, I've tried a few formations over the last couple of days that have absolutely failed. It's been an absolute pain in the... yeah. But then I stumbled on one that was absolutely incredible. The highlights you're going to see in this video are my first 2 games with it. I didn't have to do any more because I got the gameplay I needed for this video. I have been using it since though, and it absolutely slays. Even when you come against a meta slave that's running 95 Pele and Cristiano Ronaldo and Team of the Year Sophia Smith and Lucio at the back, and they're doing things like this. And then you go in at half time and you rage because you're going in with stats like this, but you're still losing 2-0. Well, this formation turned it around in the second half and got me a win. And what I would say is this formation is incredible at keeping the ball. You are constantly passing the ball around. Your opponent can't keep up with you. But also when you're attacking and you do get into the final third, man, have you got options. I'm talking 5 players all in an attacking position, ready for the pass, so you can eventually get that opportunity created. It's so much fun. The formation we're talking about is the 4-5-1 flat, and it's a really underrated formation, FC25. It runs super well in the attack with the right roles, but it's solid enough defensively that you're not going to concede on every counter attack. To make the formation work as requested, obviously I'm running short passing as the build-up style to give it that sort of tiki-taka movement. However, I would give it a try on counter as well. It works equally as well, and with the player roles being so important in this formation, you tend to find on counter they get there a little bit quicker. So if that's your bag, great. However, I think it works amazingly on short passing. And for the line height, you're not going too crazy. You're going to go for 70. And you'll find with tiki-taka formations, 95 depth that's the matter. It doesn't work very well because you're sort of going up against someone that's probably running 95 depth. And you're just cancelling each other out. And your players are a little bit too quick to get out of position, which means it's really difficult to have that smooth build-up. I found that 70 is perfect. And because they're on 95 depth, they'll come pushing out and it gives you the opportunity to just do quick passes around them. And moving on to the player roles, for your goalkeeper, you're going to use personal preference. Both your fullbacks are on fullback and defend. Both your centre-backs are on defender, defend. Your central midfielder is on deep line playmaker and defend, with both your other central midfielders being on box to box and balanced. Your wingers are on inside forward and balanced, and your striker, bread and butter, advance forward and attack. So now let's talk about why we use these roles in detail and also the sort of players that you need to make this formation absolutely slay and have a load of fun when you're playing with it. For your goalkeeper, as always, they do weird stuff, it doesn't matter, but try and go for someone tall, and like I've said before on the channel, I always go for an icon just for that chemistry boost. Now for your fullbacks, you're going to want strong and fast players that can keep up with the opposition winger, because you will find in this formation, because of your wingers being on inside forward, on the transition they're not in a position to come and help out on the defence, and it will keep your fullback quite isolated against their winger. So you want fullbacks that are good in one-on-one situations, fullbacks that can step up and intercept those passes out to the wings, but if they do fail and miss that first interception, you want them fast enough to be able to get back, man. They want to be getting back in the opposition's face and holding the play up or making a tackle to get rid. Now I know fullback defend is a little bit boring, I always like to have a fullback bombing forward for a fun formation, but it is just crucial. With the wing play in this game, you just need them on fullback defend. You want them on that narrow sort of line of 4, always cutting off the opportunities to go to the wingers, but also being in a good shape if the through ball comes through. So I run Carlos Alberto and Nuno Mendes. Both are absolutely insane in this formation. Both really strong physical presences. Look for players that you'd be happy to play at centre back if you had to. Moving on to my centre-backs, as always, defender defend. You don't want to mess around with anything else. Defender defend is the best role. I will die on that hill. Incredible role for your centre-halves. They're constantly intercepting things, constantly pushing forward, getting into the opposition face and stopping them from getting in behind. But you also want fast centre-backs, so that if they do manage to get in behind, you've at least got the opportunity to get back and make that last-ditch tackle. Usually on the channel I say that the defenders are just there purely to win the ball back and then set you off. I'd say in this formation, I'm running Araujo and Upamecano, both solid defensively, but do have a little bit of composure to get forward as well. And that is crucial in this formation. Because you don't have that out-and-out holding midfielder, you will tend to find that there is a gap between your defence and your midfield, and you need them to push forward to make the opportunities. If you're running short passing, they're going to come towards your centre-backs, but it's not going to be like normal where you have the holding midfielder to play out to. You might be looking to get a pass from your centre-back out to your winger, so they do need to be a little bit composed on the ball as well. Now for your central midfielder on deep line playmaker defend, this is all about just being defensive minded, okay? A solid CDM is what you want in this role. If you can get a CM on plus, perfect. If not, them having the height and physicality as well as the pace of a solid CDM is important. This is going to be the player that is making the most interceptions, that is getting in the opponent's face on the counter. Because your two box-to-box midfielders are going to end up pushing up the pitch, on the transition, you are going to be vulnerable. So you want this player there just breaking down the play so that you can then feed it to your wings, to your central midfielders, and get back on the attack. Now, your left and right central midfielder in this formation are crucial. You want to look for box-to-box pluses because they need to be all-rounders, man. You want to look for players that are good on the ball, good in tight spaces, can do a killer pass, but also that can defend really well, because they are going to come back on the defence. Box-to-box players sit really deep in the defensive transition. It just takes them a little while to get there. But you want them to be able to defend because you'll have a bank of three central midfielders, making it really difficult for your opponent to play those sort of through passes down the middle. It forces them to go out wide. But these central midfielders will get so involved in the attack as well. And it is crucial to make this formation fun and offer a load of attackers in the attacking final third. And you'll tend to find they always find space, which makes this a really good tiki-taka formation. Because most teams run two holding midfielders or even one, you're running three players in that central midfield area. At least one of them is going to be available for a pass at all times, and that just frees someone else up for the second pass, and you can just tiki-taka your way to the goal, man. Three central midfielders is broken. Now, your wingers in this formation are crucial. They are always going to be your out ball. Because of the 95 depth matter and the aggressive pressing, you'll get the ball to the central midfielders a lot because you've got three of them, and that will force your opponent's AI to run in on them, which means that your wingers are free so often. You want fast, agile, preferably physical players that are going to be able to bomb in behind, but also that can play really good passes. Because of how often these players are free, you are just going to look for them at every opportunity because they just gives you that sort of wide option, and then you can tiki-taka your way into the box. It just gives you the space to counter really well. And what I would say is if you can find one that can shoot, incredible, because they are going to get in shooting opportunities being on inside forward. Just don't choose one like mine. Now for your striker, bread and butter, advanced forward attack, nice and simple, we all know how it runs. But in this formation, they will be a little bit isolated. Because you haven't got a cam, and your wingers are midfielders rather than out-and-out wingers, on the transition initially, they are going to be a little bit isolated, which means you want a player that can build up well. You want a player that's physical enough to hold up the ball. I've got Luis Suarez. You don't necessarily need a tall, strong player, but someone that's decent physically and got decent passing so that you can find your wingers, pass back to your box-to-boxes, and then eventually you'll have the space to then make the runs in behind. So you want them to be pacey as well, because you want them getting in behind the opponent as often as possible, getting you into those scoring opportunities. But obviously, above all else, they need to be good at shooting, okay? You can't have a striker that isn't. It's a sole striker formation. They're going to be your outlet in front of goal. When they get it, you want them bombing the ball into the net. So I think that's going to do it for the formation, guys. Not really much more to be said, but it is so fun to use. I strongly recommend you give it a go because you have so many options in attack at all times. It's just fluid, and the short passing just makes it incredible. Those three central midfielders just make it different to anything else anyone else is running, and it just gives you that solidity defensively, but on the attack it just gives you so many options. You're going to score a ton of goals. And any formation, like I said in the intro, that can come against a full sweat team and come down from 2-0 to winning the game 5-3 in the end and making the guy rage quit, it's good enough for me, man. But here's the code, guys, if you want to give this amazing formation a go yourselves. It is absolutely incredible. It's not the meta, but it is so fun to use, and you have so many attacking options that it just makes makes you want to play FIFA again, man. Like, I've had an absolute blast using this. And whilst you're noting down the code, if you guys have got anything you'd like me to give a try, if you've got any formations you're running, or alternatively, if you want me to find a formation for you that works how you want it to be done, just pop a comment down below. I read them all, I respond to them all, and I'll sort one out for you for a future video. Anyway guys, that's going to do it. If these tactics help you and you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like so other people see it. And if you're new around here, consider subscribing. We're so close to actually earning money off this channel, and then maybe I can actually start buying some players. Who knows? Anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye!